Hi, I'm Linda. This video is all about back care. So if you have tension in the low back or tightness in the low back in particular, in this video we'll use rhythmic movements to create space in the spine as well as creating some strength in the muscles around the spine. So for this practice, it would be helpful to have a bolster like this or a pillow, a couch cushion, or even a rolled up blanket. We'll use this to support the knees in our final integration and relaxation pose. When you support the knees with something beneath the knees, it takes the pressure off the low back when you're laying on your back. The other thing that might come in handy is a block that looks like this. So if you don't have a yoga block, a book, or even, I was looking at this, I was even thinking even like a 5-pound bag of sugar, like an unopened one, that is about this size, isn't it? So that would probably do fine. So a block and if you have one, and a cushion, a pillow, a bolster of some kind. The movements that we'll use today are rhythmic movements that are coordinated with your breath. If at any time there's any movement that I'm guiding you through that doesn't feel appropriate for you, please either feel free to adapt the movement in a way that does feel appropriate for you, or feel free to simply stop the movement and pick it up at the next pose. So you'll begin on your back. The legs are extended straight down to the end of your mat, and just taking a moment to feel the back of your body in contact with the mat. Noticing where your body's in contact with the surface beneath you and where there are spaces. And allowing the whole body to soften, doing a little mini body scan, noticing where you might be holding on to the muscles, where the muscles are engaged and they don't really even need to be. And taking a big breath in, and letting that go with a sigh. So as you feel ready, bringing your right knee in towards your chest, loosely clasping your hands around the right knee, taking a big breath in, and on the exhale, drawing the knee into the chest as you bend the elbows. On the inhale, you'll straighten the elbows and take the knee away from the chest. So that's the movement. We'll take that 4 more times, coordinating the breath with the movement. Taking a big breath in. Exhale as you draw the knee in, bending the elbows. Inhaling to take the knee away, straightening the elbows. Exhaling, drawing the knee in. Inhaling, taking the knee away. Exhaling, drawing the knee in. Inhaling, taking the knee away. One final time on the exhale, drawing the knee in. And on the inhale, taking the knee away, releasing the knee, extending the right leg down to the end of your mat, and just taking a moment to notice whether one side feels any different than the other. Perhaps there's more sensation in the right side. And if you don't notice any difference, that's okay too. So as you feel ready, we'll take that to the opposite side, bringing the left knee in towards your chest, clasping both hands around the left knee, taking a big breath in. And on your exhale, drawing the knee into your chest, just bringing it to that point that feels appropriate for you. Inhale, straightening the elbows, taking the knee away. So we'll take that 4 more times. Big breath in. Exhale, bending the elbows, drawing the knee in. And inhale, taking the knee away. Exhale, drawing the knee in. Inhaling, taking the knee away. Exhaling, drawing the knee in. Inhaling, taking the knee away. And one final time, exhaling, drawing the knee in. Inhaling, taking the knee away, releasing the hands and extending the left leg down to the end of your mat. And taking a moment to notice whether you feel any more in balance now that we've done both sides. So if you like, we'll take both knees together. The same movement, coordinating the breath with the movement, but both knees together. So drawing both knees into your chest, hands are loosely around the knees, taking a big breath in. Exhaling as you bend the elbows, drawing the knees in. Exhale. Inhale as you straighten the elbows, taking the knees away. So we'll take that 4 more times. Exhaling the knees in. Inhaling the knees away. Exhaling the knees in. Inhaling the knees away. Exhaling the knees in. Inhaling the knees away. One final time, exhaling the knees in. Inhaling the knees away, releasing the hands, placing both feet flat on the mat with the legs bent. And taking a moment to receive that series of movements. Noticing where sensation is beginning to become noticeable for you. So we'll take a series of dynamic bridge movements. All of our movements will be coordinated with the breath. So the legs are bent, the feet are flat on the floor, and the heels are in close enough that feels comfortable for you. Your palms are facing down. On an inhale, we'll raise the hips toward the ceiling. On an exhale, we'll lower the hips down. So on an inhale, bringing the hips up toward the ceiling, doing your best to feel each vertebra as it raises off the mat. Exhaling, lowering the hips back down. At the end of the exhale, letting the whole back of your body soften into the mat before you inhale again, raising the hips off the mat on the inhale, stretching the front of the body. Exhaling as you lower the hips back down, taking it 1 vertebra at a time if you can, letting the whole low back soften into the mat at the end of the exhale. And on the inhale, once again, peeling the spine off the mat, taking the hips to the ceiling. And exhale and lower. And taking that 2 more times, inhaling the spine off the mat, taking the hips to the ceiling. Great big inhale. And exhaling as you lower the hips down, taking it 1 vertebra at a time, softening the sacrum into the mat at the end of the exhale. Your final inhale, once again raising the hips off the mat. And lowering the hips back down, 1 vertebra at a time. Letting the whole body soften here and taking a moment to receive that series of movements. Noticing where sensation might be shifting in your body or becoming more prominent. And as you feel ready, extending the arms out at shoulder height in a T shape, bringing the knees into your chest, taking a big breath in, and on your exhale, letting the knees drop over to the right as the head turns to the left, and on the inhale, drawing the knees back to center. Exhale to the opposite side, knees left, head right. Inhale back to center. So that's the movement. We'll coordinate the movement with the breath and we'll take it 2 more times to both sides. So taking a big breath in and exhaling the knees to the right, head to the left. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling knees left, head right. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling knees right, head left. Inhaling back to center, exhaling knees left, head right. This time letting the knees rest on the left, rolling over onto your left side and using your hands to press you right up into table position on hands and knees. So in table position, your knee is below your hip and your wrist is below your shoulder. So we'll take a few rounds of cat and cow breath here, as with all of our other movements, coordinating the breath with the movement. So as you inhale, drawing the head and the tailbone up, creating a little hollow in the spine, great big inhale. Exhaling as you slide the tailbone down, tucking the chin into your chest. We'll take that 4 more times, inhaling into your cow tilt and exhaling into your cat movement. Inhaling as you stretch out the front of the body, drawing the head and the tailbone up. Inhaling as you press the floor away with your hands, spreading apart the wings of the shoulder blades. Inhaling into cow and exhaling into cat. One final time. Inhaling into cow. Exhaling into your cat tilt. And coming back to center. Feel free to give the wrists a little rotation if there's any sensitivity in the wrists. And then we'll take that basic movement, but we'll stretch out the low back a little bit more. So inhaling into your cow tilt. And this time on the exhale, letting the hips slide down onto the heels as you come into a child pose, really stretching out the low back. So inhaling right up into your cow tilt. Exhaling, settling the hips onto the heels into child. Take that 3 more times, inhaling into your cow tilt. And exhaling into child. Inhaling into cow and exhaling into child. One final time, inhaling into your cow tilt and exhaling into child. We'll pause here for 2 cycles of breath, noticing how each inhale expands the back body. And on each exhale, you might be able to settle into the pose a little more deeply if you can. If there's any tension in the knees, feel free to come out of the position. We'll take 1 more breath here, just allowing the whole back body to expand and soften. And on your next inhale, sliding forward onto your tummy, coming into a Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, the elbow is beneath the shoulder. Your arms are at right angles. So your arms aren't down here. The arms are at right angles and the elbow is beneath the shoulder. So just pausing here for a moment to feel what Sphinx pose feels like for you before we begin to coordinate the breath with the movement, making it a little more dynamic. So the low back can be released and relaxed. So we'll lower the chest down onto the mat. You may need to widen out your elbows a little bit to lower the chest down onto the mat, turning the head over to the right. So on your next inhale, peeling the chest off the mat, bringing the head to center. On the exhale, lowering the chest, turning the head to the left. Inhaling back to center as you peel the chest off the mat. And exhaling, lowering the chest down onto the mat, turning the head to the right. So that's our basic movement. We'll repeat that 2 more times to both sides, coordinating the breath with the movement. So inhaling as you peel the chest off, head comes up. Exhaling, lowering the chest, head turns to the left. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, lowering the chest, head turns to the right. So if you like, we'll take that 1 more time. Inhaling, peel, lifting the chest. Exhaling, lowering the chest, head turns to the left. Inhaling, lifting the chest. This time, let's pause if you like. Returning to our Sphinx pose. The chest is lifted off the mat. Then drawing the hands towards your ribcage. So the hands don't actually move, but that action of drawing the hands towards your ribcage lifts the chest up a little higher. So if there's any tension in the low back, feel free to soften out of the pose a little. This is a very benevolent back bend, strengthening the muscles around the back. And taking 1 more breath here. And once again, widening out the elbows, lowering the chest down onto the mat, turning your head over to the right, and we'll take a pause just for 1 breath before we move on. Then rolling over onto your back. Now getting that block. We'll use the block or the book or the bag of sugar, whatever it is that you have. So bringing that handy. And then you might also like to bring your bolster a little closer for our final movement. So the legs are bent with the feet flat on the floor. We'll come into a supported bridge pose here. So we did bridge, a dynamic bridge, earlier in our practice. So we'll take that block or whatever it is you're using for a block. On the inhale, raising the hips off the ground, then sliding the block on its low side, sliding the block underneath your sacrum. So it's just beneath your waistband. It's below the waistband. And allowing the arms to relax alongside your body. The palms are facing upward and letting the whole body soften here. So we're coming into a supported bridge. Trusting that the block has your weight. Your feet are also supporting you and the shoulders and head are supporting you. We'll take 2 nice, long, slow, deep cycles of breath here. Scanning your body, looking for any areas of tension, any areas where the muscles are engaged and they don't need to be, and letting any tension release. And then as you feel ready, lifting the hips up just enough to slide the block away, and lowering the hips back down onto the mat. And taking a moment to receive the effects of that supported bridge pose. And then just as we did earlier in our reclining twist, we'll come into it again, but this time we'll hold. So the arms are extended straight out at shoulder height in a T shape, drawing the knees into your chest and letting the knees drop over to the right. The head comes over to the left. So you're welcome to support the knees with a cushion or a block, either between the knees or between the knees and the floor. We'll pause here for 1 nice, long, slow, deep cycle of breath. You're welcome always to stay longer in any of these poses if you like. Then bringing the knees back to center, shifting the hips over to the right just a little bit, drawing your knees into your chest and letting them drop over to the left. Head turns to the right. And again, we'll pause here for 1 nice, long, slow, deep cycle of breath. Noticing how the movement feels now relative to earlier in your practice. So from here, rolling over onto your left side, using your hands to push yourself up to a seated position, just enough to grab that pillow or that rolled up blanket that you're going to place under your knees to support you in our final integration and relaxation. So placing that under the knees, using your hands to support you to roll back onto your back, rotating the palms to face up, and taking a big breath in and releasing that with a sigh. Just let the whole body soften downward into the support beneath you. Scanning your body for any places where the muscles are engaged and they don't need to be engaged. And allowing the whole body to soften downward. Allowing the whole body to completely relax into the pull of the earth. Just becoming aware of all of the sensations from head to toe. The pulse of life expanding in your body. The vibrancy in every cell of your body as the body and mind become still. Have a brilliant day.